from this win if it's Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, you finally win in September. You win at the start of the year, right? Zach Taylor coming into this as a head coach, 1-11 in his first 2 games of a season. And so, yeah, it was ugly. And maybe if the Cleveland Browns had a kicker who could make an extra point or a 36-yard field goal, right? That's a swing of 4 points that they could have had. In fact, right before the Browns shouldn't have even had a chance right there. There shouldn't have even been the interception because the Bengals should have been able to run out the clock, get a first down, and end the game. So still a number of errors. Yes, you're 1-0 on the board, and you're happy about that. But the way this game ended, you don't feel good about it if you're the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, most importantly for Cincinnati, they won. It was an ugly game, but this is what you expect when you see Cleveland and Cincy face off.
Sure.
And this has been the calling card for the Cleveland Browns. They're like the cardiac kids when they're playing against AFC North opponents, especially in the month of September. They find ways to make games extremely dicey, and they will have you biting your nails late in the fourth quarter. But one bright spot for the Cincinnati Bengals, yes, it was a 1-point victory, but the defense made plays, right? Yes, they went against Joe Flacco. I understand, but they needed something positive to happen in their favor, and this could be a jump start in moving forward because I don't expect Joe Burrow to have the struggles that we saw today. I don't expect Joe Burrow to be harassed by Myles Garrett week in and week out. That's not going to happen. Jamar Chase is going to show up to the party. T. Higgins is going to show up to the party. Chase Brown is going to show up to the party. But they didn't have the party like they wanted to have, but they still found a way to celebrate.
Did you overlap with Flacco?
Yes. Flacco's been playing since '97.
That's how long it's been. Pat, it's a good point about the defense, though. So many questions. We're saying the Bengals are going to have to score 40 points a game to walk away with wins this year. What do you take away from the defensive performance?
Definitely pleased to see the defense come out of this game with the performance that they did today. Don't know the numbers on the third down conversions initially right now, but for the most part, when you're able to win on the defensive side of the ball, you're able to build confidence.
Yeah.
And now with Joe Burrow, we know the weapons that they have on the offensive side of the ball. Now those guys are just going to have to kick it in the first gear. And they did something that they haven't done in a while, winning week 1.
Yeah.
You know, so if these guys can get the ball rolling, get back into the groove that they was in last year, and the defense can play like they did semi how they played today, maybe the Cincinnati Bengals will get back to the top.
And technically, the defense won the ball game.
Yeah.
Right? The interception early on, but the game-winning interception that led to them kneeling out the football game was a huge play for them.
Because if I tell you that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have a game where Joe Burrow has 113 passing yards and that Jamar Chase will have 2 catches for 26 yards.
It should be a loss.
It should be a loss.
Hands down.
No disrespect to Joe Flacco, second oldest quarterback in the NFL, second oldest player in the NFL. Coming up on CBS Sports HQ, we take you to the eldest statesman as Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers walk out of MetLife with a win. A look at Joe Burrow's numbers, 1-4. Here with a win in week 1. They don't ask how, just how many, and the Bengals tally their first.
The 5th player since the merger to win the receiving Triple Crown. But that wasn't enough for the Bengals to make the playoffs. Burrow knows they have to get off to a better start. He sat down with Alex before he kicked off year 6.
Obviously, we haven't started the way we wanted to really since I've been here. Like I've said the last 5 years, you're not going to make the playoffs in week 1 and week 2, whether we win or lose. We know what this year is all about. We've re-signed some key pieces. The last 2 years haven't gone the way that we expected or wanted, so this is a big year for us.
Touchdown, Bengals! What a throw by Joe Burrow.
You said that the window for this franchise winning a Super Bowl was your career. Why do you feel that way?
If you don't expect to win the game when you go out there, what are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? I'm not just going out there to have fun and play football with my friends. We're going out there to win. It just doesn't make sense in my head. What am I gonna say? It's like, oh yeah, we got 3 years, but then we're done. Like, we got nothing left after that. I'm not, of course, I don't think that way. It would be dishonest for me to say that. If people think that's cocky, that is what it is. Sometimes I am a little cocky, that's okay. You need to be that way sometimes.
All right, so we're looking forward to that matchup today, and Jeremy Fowler is there covering the Bengals and Browns for us. And Jeremy, you talked to some more of the Bengals about their slow starts. What did they tell you?
Greeny, the Bengals are tired of hearing about the slow starts. I just spoke to left tackle Orlando Brown pregame. He said that we've been waiting months to get on this field to stop the bleeding and start hot. And so the offseason has been urgent for the Bengals. You can feel it out here on the field. I just watched Jamar Chase warm up for the last 20 minutes catching tennis balls. The man's face did not change, did not blink. He is locked in. Joe Burrow's throwing right behind me. The Bengals feel like he maybe had his best camp of his entire career. It's going to be up to him today to neutralize Myles Garrett. When I talked to Bengal sources on the sideline here a few minutes ago, they told me stopping 95 is number one. And so this could be a sneaky good game for running back Chase Brown. And Greeny, the Bengals not only want to start fast, they want a slow ending in the form of a Super Bowl. Brown told me we have the team to do it. I cannot wait to get started.
All right, Jeremy, outstanding. Thank you. Sneaky, interesting game. The Browns have always given the Bengals a tough time. And Alex, as you sit there with Joe and everything else, what is your take on the slow starts?
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen how bad the numbers are. But I thought it was important there. Jeremy mentioned, right? I talked to Joe Burrow again at that interview, and he said the same thing to me. He's never felt this good. And then you start to dig into it, and you realize this is the first time he's ever been healthy into a training camp, right? In 5 years, he's won Comeback Player of the Year twice, right? I mean, the guy's had a torn ACL. He had his calf injury. The guy had a freaking appendicitis and then had wrist surgery last offseason, right? And I think for the first time, he's been finally able to catch his breath. And listen, this guy is such a difference maker. If you don't have him in a training camp, it's hard to start fast, right? He is the offense. They rely on the pass game more than anybody.
Yeah, but it's so puzzling because to me, look, nobody wants to play this team ever at the end of any season. Then why the hell can't you start this way? And to me, I think there's pressure on Zach Taylor because Zach is an outstanding coach. Everybody recognizes that. But in 6 seasons, he's 1-11 to open up the season the first 2 games. That's crazy. But you got to look at it as a coach. What the hell am I doing? Because your job's to get your guys popping out of their skin to start the season, mentally prepared, physically prepared, and you haven't done it.
Yep.
You give you an F for the way you started.
Well, you're talking about the last time we saw Joe Burrow was in the preseason game where the starters were supposed to be on the sideline, but him and the offensive lineman were still out on the field in the preseason game, and that's when he was doing the whirly twirls and got sacked. So for me, going in and getting off to a fresh start is a must today because of the last time we've seen the Cincinnati Bengals offense. But very quickly, let me talk about the Triple Crown in Jamar Chase and how effective it was for Joe Burrow and this offense. The way they were able to move Jamar Chase around, left side, left slot, right slot, he was effective wherever they moved him. So you talking about, I remember a couple years ago when Cooper Kupp received the Triple Crown. He was moved everywhere within the offense. Well, then last year, Jamar Chase moved everywhere within the offense. So what am I trying to say? That it could be a possible 2 years in a row that this man can go for a Triple Crown. So I'm anxious to see what Denzel Ward and this Cleveland Browns defense led by Denzel Ward in the secondary has in store.
Why is that so critical? Well, when you put a receiver in a slot, that's way different than covering a guy outside. When he's parked in one position, you can lock down Denzel Ward on him and things.
Right.
But Denzel Ward is better outside than he is inside.
Yeah.
So to your point, Moss, that's outstanding.
We once had a focus in New England just win September because we had some slow starts to begin too. And I like the focus of the start of the season, just winning the month, being 3-1, being 4-0. It really takes the long-term goal out of it, and you're just focusing on September. I think that's the Bengals that's been good about. I love how Joe played.
Yes.
I mean, probably of all the superstar quarterbats, he's the one that got the most reps, preseason reps. We'll see how that helps today, but we haven't talked about the Bengals defense. I mean, these guys.
Well, that's the point.
These guys, it's not
it didn't last year.
Yeah, they got to
There are no
up.
questions about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. All the questions are on the other side of the ball. Meanwhile, there's a huge question that hovered over the league today, and Adam Schefter has the early answer. Schefter, take us to San Francisco. What's the breaking news?
Greeny, we have an answer on the biggest question heading into Sunday about Christian McCaffrey's status. He will play today against the Seattle Seahawks. He is good to go. The 49ers are not concerned. Slight little issue in practice on Thursday. They felt like they tested him out, and they are not concerned. He will be out there. He will be starting. And if you have him on your fantasy team, again, you put him in because he's good to go, and they're not concerned.
All right. Schefter, thank you, Alex. I saw you sort of cheering along with that. Obviously,
are you kidding me? I mean, all of Niner faithful, right, holding their breath when we heard news of the calf. Obviously,